Hello everybody, I'm back again. I'm doing rounds 3 and 4 of part 2 of the Lily Pond Carl. Round 3 we're using the fern colour if we're sticking with the original colours of the Carl. And round 4 is using olive or whichever alternative you're using. And we need to join the fern at the top of any petal. So if we just have a look at our stitches here, I know again it's white, it's not very helpful, but the centre post is the actual double treble in this particular petal here. And if we look at the top, there is the V at the top of that stitch, and just off to the right is where you would insert your hook to join your yarn in this case. So I'll just put my hook in there now, and I'll get my yarn, new colour, and it asks to join with a chain, one chain and a double crochet. There's one chain and that's the double crochet. Now I've left a long tail for weaving in. I'll explain all in a little while. Sorry, got the cameras all over the shop here. That's better. Bump and move the table. Okay, so we've anchored it in, but I've left a long tail for weaving in. I'll explain at the end. And now we need to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And then we are putting a double crochet into the central point of the next stitch. So we've got the post of our treble here, and the top is just off to the right where you put your hook. And we're just going to put a double crochet in there, and then we're chaining 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then inserting at the top of the next petal, which happens to be a tall one, yarn through, double crochet at the top. Okay, so now chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and again identify the top of that central stitch, insert your hook and a double, and we're just going to do this all the way around the whole flower. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, identify the top of that stitch and put a double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and again identify the top of the treble in this case at the very top and do a double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, yarn in, there we are, and a double at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, nearly there. So identify the top of the treble. Now because I like to join as I do and kind of create a false chain in the process, I'm only going to chain 6 on this last one, and we'll be creating chain 7 as we join the pieces together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're not confident doing this and you'd prefer to chain your 7 and slip stitch, that's up to you. It's your piece of work. I'm just trying to show some alternative methods of joining bits of work together. So we just pull that yarn through. We don't pull it tight. We're not finishing off. We want to keep our chain nice and neat. And I'm just going to thread this tail onto my needle. Now then, when we first joined, we joined with a chain, and this strand here is that chain. I hope you can see it. This strand here is the chain. Next to it is a very squashed V, which is the post of the double crochet, and this V on the top, which if you pull will create a small hole to the right, that is the top of that double crochet, and this is where we need to put our needle. Okay, and we're working through the front of the piece of work coming out of the back, and we're going under both strands of the top of that stitch. So we just push our needle through and we just pull enough to join them up. And what we're trying to attempt to do is create a chain in this space that is the same size as the chains on either side. So we've created the front loop here. We're now going to get our needle and put it back down the center of the 6th chain that we made. And sorry, I haven't pulled that tight, but you can see how we've created the false V there that you would have for a chain. And if I pull it just enough, it blends in. You can barely see. But a chain, as you know, will consist of 3 chains, so 3 pieces of yarn. So we've got the chain here, and if I turn it over, we've got a lump at the back. So each chain consists of 3 strands of yarn. So in order to finish this off properly, really, I'm just going to create a bump by coming back up in this double crochet here. It's not perfect, but it blends in quite well, and it stops the necessitation of creating a slip stitch and creating a knot here. So now I know that Jane, the designer, says that you can't really weave the ends in, but because I've left long tails, I'm going to weave halfway around with one tail and halfway around with the other, and therefore the aesthetic won't change because it will look even all the way around, and it will get anchored in at certain points, and therefore I won't be worried that it's going to come out at any point. I'm just going to keep weaving till I'm a good way around. Keep going. I'm very sorry if you can hear my stomach rumbling, or if you can hear my daughter getting wrong off my mother by leaving Lego all over the floor. Okay. So, sorry, this is when I think I should have a jingle or something going on in the background, because it must be really boring. Oh. So I've given it a good way around, and it doesn't, if from a distance, you really can't tell. So I'm now going to get the tail that was left from when we originally joined, and I'm going to thread this up the back. I'm going to weave back the other way. So again, like I said, I'm going to weave quite a way around. There we go, keep going. Sorry, this is really boring for you. I would normally use a smaller darning needle, but I'm using this one because it's easy for you to see. And as I say, always keep your tails at the back of your workout really. So that's round 3. Okay. Now round 4 we're changing colour, and we're changing to the olive if you're sticking to the pattern, or whatever alternative you have chosen to make. So what we need to do is join at the top of a double crochet that's at the top of a shorter petal. So in this case that would be identified as this here. Now if the top of this stitch is just off to the right, and that's it there, it can create a bit of a hole. So this is purely my choice. I've been working in the centre with all the squares that I made, just to keep things central. So you can work in the top if you wish, but I think that it could change the look of it. Or you can work in the centre of the double crochet, whichever is easiest for you. I'm going to work in the centre. And when you do that, you'll have 2 strands on either side of your hook at the back, but you'll also have 2 strands of the stitch on either side of your hook on the right side. So this is a short petal, so we join by doing 1 chain to join and then a further 2, which counts as a treble. 1, 2. And then it's asking us to put a true treble in exactly the same place. So we'll do that. 1, 2. Okay. And then we need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then it's asking us to put 2 double trebles into the next double crochet at the top of a tall petal. Now in this particular case, this is where I joined the fern colour, because we have more than one 2 strands. You've got the 2 strands just off to the left here, which is the actual double crochet, and this strand here, which is the chain 1 that we used to start. So because I'm using the center of each double crochet, I'll be working in the center of the 2 strands to the left, because that is the double crochet, whereas the other strand is the chain 1, and we're not using the chain 1 as a stitch at all. So we're doing a double treble, so we need to wrap our yarn twice round the hook, and then I'm going to insert that into the center of that double crochet, like so. 1, 2, 3, and another one in the same spot. 1, oh sorry, I didn't wrap my yarn round twice. So that's 2 double trebles in there now. Then we need to chain 2, 1, 2, and put another 2 double trebles in exactly the same spot, and they will fit. Don't panic. That's 1, 2. Okay, and this is starting to create a corner. So where the double trebles are, this is a corner, and there will be fans in along the edges. Okay, so we've done that. So now we need to, I just need to double check, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're putting 3 trebles into the center. So again, just to show you where I'm putting it, this here is the top of that double crochet. I'm working in the center of the stitch itself. Okay, again, it's personal choice. So 1, 2, we're putting 3 trebles in this same spot here, like so, and then we need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're back to a tall petal, and this is where we're doing the double trebles this time. So 2 double trebles into the double crochet, either into the center if you're choosing that method, or into the top, whichever you want to do. So that's 1, 2, chain 2, and then another 2 stitches into that spot. 1, 2, then we're chaining 3 because we're coming along the corner. So now we've got 2 corners. So we're chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're putting 3 trebles into this next double here. That's where the hook's gone. There is the top of that stitch, and as you can see, it can create a big hole. So that's why I'm being, well, I'm a neat freak, as you probably all know by now. So neatness matters to me. So it's going in the center. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're chaining 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and we're back to a large petal. So we need to do 2 double trebles into this next one. Sorry, need to make sure I get it there. The tail was getting in the way, couldn't see. So that's 1, 2, 2 chains, and a further 2 double trebles into that corner. That's a treble. It's because, sorry, my yarn was getting tangled up. So twice round and another 2 trebles in here. 1, 2. So we've got 3 corners now. So we're chaining 3, 1, 2, and 3, and we're working into the center 3 trebles this time. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3, and we're coming up to our last corner now. So it's a double treble into this corner. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by the noise outside. Okay, so that's 1, 2, we're going to chain 2, and another 2 double trebles in that corner. 1, 2, we're going to chain 3, and we're back to where we started. We need to put 1 further treble in exactly the same spot as the chain 3 that we started with. Dearie me, I'm getting all tangled up. Right, chain. So back in there, pull up through 2, through 2, and then if you're slip stitching into the 3rd chain at the top of this piece of work. Okay, but I'm going to join as I have for pretty much everything else. So I'm going to snip the yarn off, pull that last loop through. I'm still joining in exactly the same place, so I need to, so that's the first, this is the loose, it's loose because that's the yarn that we joined with. The first chain is loose, then there's a second chain, and then we're going to be putting our needle in the top of the third one there. And again, like we did on the previous round, you're going through both strands and then back down the last chain, but we don't want to see this one, so we're pulling it tight enough to hide it, but not tight enough to restrict access to these stitches, because we will be working into them in the next round. And I'm just going to come back up that chain 3 again, and then just weave this end around. I do apologise about the daughter singing in the background. At least she's happy. That's one way I'm looking at it anyway. So I'll just go a fair way around so I know it's going to be tied in nice. Like so. And then if this is a bit fiddly because there's not a lot to it, it's very loose and whimsical and it's hard to hold on to at this point, but as you come to do the next round, it'll be a lot easier to hold on to, and the structure will become a lot more sturdy than it is at this moment in time. So with the original joining tail, I'm just going to feed that up the top of the chain 3 to the top, and then weave in the opposite direction so that we don't create bulk. Oh, lost the end there. Okay, so this is where we're at now. So we've now got round 1, 2, 3 and 4 with the olive. So we've now got 4 corners. It's now starting to look a bit more like a square. So I appreciate that this is late. I had major computer issues last week, so I hope that, not last week, yes it was last week, sorry, but all is fixed now, so I can soldier on. So I hope these videos have been helpful with these 2 particular parts. I am going to cover the embroidery around the centre in another video. So happy hooking, and I'll speak to you soon.